Shalom Akim. I'd like to start by saying all praises, glory, and honor be unto Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi, the true name of the Father and the Son. Okay, and I'd like to say double honors unto the apostles, the elders of GMS, the true men of the Lord, of the true elders and leaders of the nation of Israel on earth today. All right, and salutations to the Akim that on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity. All right, you know, and risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Trying to get this thing in focus here. All right, Akim. I really didn't have like a topic, you know, that I was gonna go into. This is gonna be done through the Spirit. I was commenting back and forth with some guy on a, you know, name, you know, on the comment board on one of the videos. I think it was to the response to the black Hebrew Israelite thing. You know, and you got to remember, man, anytime someone's using that word black or white in front of it, those are bywords. Those aren't those. There's no nation of black or white in the table of nations in Genesis, the 10th chapter. All right, that's an Edomite propaganda right off the back right there. All right, because so-called black people are brown. Okay, so are Hispanics. Okay, they're not. They're and so are natives. You know, especially you know, in the earlier part of the century, or should I say centuries back, when Esau, you know, first started really coming over here. All right, they were different shades of brown, from dark brown to a light brown, as are other brown people on the earth. There's never, and you can see the darkest African or the darkest Indian, because there's some really dark people in India. They're brown. All right, and the so-called white man, who is Esau, Edom, is red. Okay, he's not white, man. He's red. He's got red complexion to him. You know, I think I have a image. There we go. Matter of fact, I see this Edomite quite often right here. All right, you can clearly see that the sign he's holding is white. Okay, but his face is red. Red, pink is flesh. There is your red man of the Bible. That is the Edomite, man. And you know, basically the clown that was making this comment, I think he was the Iron Cross or something like that, trying to defend vocab. He's basically coming with the opinion. It's like you always hear me say, man, and I'm going to continue to say it. The so-called white man who is Esau, Edom, okay, he can't deny the fact that he is Edom anymore. As a matter of fact, last night in class, the brother gave a testimony. He was on a train. He ran into another brother, and they were just speaking to each other boldly on the train. And he was talking about, he said something to the fact that he told the brother, we cut them. Because, you know, they now know that they Edom, and they can't prove that they're not the Edomites. And he said that every white person on the train got up and got off. She went to another train. So they may pretend like they don't know what's going on and they're not talking. These Edomites are watching, they're listening, and what they're doing is they're going home to research. The ones who, you know, and a lot of them are finding out that, damn, we really are the Edomites, and what they're saying is true, and that be the problem for them. Okay, but what, you know, any further ado, I'm going to go into this book right here, Christopher Columbus. Okay, and it's called Christopher Columbus and the Participation of the Jews in the Spanish and Portuguese Discoveries by Mayer K. Serling. Okay? And this is a very good book because it proves that the Jews had everything to do with the slave trade. Because when they were discovering the New World, what are they doing? They're annexing the islands, annexing Hispaniola, annexing Puerto Rico, and setting up slave colonies. That's what they were doing. All right. If you, I watched the clip of the movie. Let me turn to the page when we start reading, and you know whatever scriptures come. But I watched a clip of a movie that someone posted up in a video saying, "Let Esau tell you the devil," and the man clearly said, he said, "There's no one worth over $100 million a day that got it honestly." You know, and he started naming off the Gettys, the DuPonts, the you know, the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers, and you know, the Oppenheimers, and it's true. because they're what they do. They set up the West India Trading Company. And what were they trading? They were trading Jake, man, for the most part. Okay? So, and let me get a scripture, man. Let me go to Jeremiah 50 and 33. Let me hold that. Because I'm gonna prove real quickly. I'm not gonna make this a long lesson, man. You know, well, I don't intend for it to be long, because I truly am going off the Spirit here. The Spirit just jumped on me to start reading and just do something, and I didn't. You know, usually I sit down and write a little script and prepare and try to follow that script, and then whatever comes with it. But I've been wanting to do something in this book. I haven't really gone into this book in a while. But this is Jeremiah 50 and 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. All right, verse 34, though. Their Redeemer is strong. The Lord of hosts is his name, the God of war, man. Okay? And he shall thoroughly plead their case. Though he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. So he's getting ready to annihilate this place. All right, which you know has held fast both the northern and southern kingdom, because that's what this is all about. And without any further ado, let me get into this book. It says Indians and Israelites. Luis de Torres, the first European. Now he was from Europe, but he wasn't European at all. Luis de Torres is a Hebrew interpreter. He was a Moor, a blackamoor. Matter of fact, let's read the definition. A blackamoor from the Winston Simplified Dictionary Encyclopedia Edition with biblical references. Okay? Let's read a blackamoor. Ah, there it is. And I didn't highlight it. So, you know what? Let's, oh, shit. Salakia. Knocked over my little stand there. Salakia. Oh, mess is screwing up right now. Drop the camera. Salakia for the noise. Trying to get this right. Lost my definition. Number Satan. Drop my highlighter. I'll just read it without highlighting it. Didn't realize that I hadn't highlighted it. But here we go. Blackamoor. Okay? It says a Negro, especially an African Negro. Alright? The magic once practiced by what? The magic once practiced by witches. Oh, that's black art, Salakia. No, blackamoor. That's black art, which is right under blackamoor. A Negro, especially an African Negro. So they made a difference between, once again, a difference between a Negro and an African. That let you know they're two different things. Okay? And you can go to the Zondervan's Dictionary Bible to read about the difference between a Hamite and a Negro, against an African and a Negro. They are two different races of people, but nevertheless, approved. Luis de Torres was a Moor, a blackamoor, all right, who spoke Hebrew, who had lately come of Spain. You know, we got to remember, in 1492, what's his name? Ferdinand and Isabella got dominion over Spain. Who was rising to power? The Borgia family, and Cesare Borgia was a general, and for his father, a warlike man. And then we got to remember, when Luis de Torres came over here to be an interpreter, who we're reading about right now, he brought this image with him, with Cesare Borgia, who became your new face of the Lord. Okay? He won favor with the ruler of Kakik and received from him presents, not merely lands, but also slaves, 5 adults and children. The king and queen of Spain granted him yearly allowance of 8,645 Maravits, I guess that's money. He died in the newly discovered land, all right, as they all did, because they made this their home. All right, it says, in Cuba, Hispaniola, in other lands, which he discovered, Columbus found natives who had their caciques. I can't actually pronounce that word. It's I'm not sure what it is. I have to look it up. And their own language and traditions. To what race did these aboriginals of America belong? Several writers have asserted and have displayed much learning attempting to prove the aboriginals were descendants of Jews, which they were. Matter of fact, one of them was Ethan Smith. In 1825, it was A View of the Hebrews by Ethan Smith. That was a letter from Thomas Jefferson in there to Mary Meriwether Lewis, who, if I'm not mistaken, she was the wife of Lewis and Clark, one of the Lewis-Clark expedition that went across America into the West, to do Western discoveries, man. And what they were finding, the story that we hear is not the true story, man, because these Edomites, they were finding nothing but Hebrew relics and writings. Hell, the oldest Torah came in an aluminum scroll, a lot like this water bottle, which was found, and inside of it was found the oldest Torah known to man. So why would the Native Americans have a Torah in an aluminum cylinder like this one out east, out there in New York, near New York, man? All right, in one of those states out there, I forget exactly which one, but if I'm not mistaken, it was like New Jersey, New York, one of the tribes that was around that area, man. They found a copper cylinder like that one, or it was a copper cylinder, Salakia, not aluminum, but a copper. And when they opened it up, that's what was inside of it, a Torah written in Hebrew, man, in the Assyrian Hebrew, proving that these people came over here from the Assyrian captivity, man. All right, what's his name? John Wesley Powell, in 1882, I do believe it was. He declared the artifacts prior to Christopher Columbus. In 1789. Anything found prior to Columbus' discoveries was not to be used in history as relics. They put it away and hid it, man. So they were trying to cover up the fact that these people were reading and writing in ancient Hebrew. And these are the things that we bring out online when we're telling the truth about who the Israelites are. So that's a cut on you black power Israelites that want to push that black power. All the tribes are dark and only look like Negroes. Okay, that's a cut on that. And then that's a cut on these Edomites, man, the so-called white man who trying to discredit and say that they're Asians, coming with that hypothesis, which is the theory, which is simply an educated guess, which is a horrible guess, that they came across the Bering Strait, which would have been physically impossible to bring that many people across the Bering Strait, man. All right, you can't even get across there with ice-breaking ships, man. How you going to get old and young and little kids? And what were they going to eat, man? And there will be a trail of bones and skeletons and bodies and tools to prove it, and there aren't any. All right? Because because you have to remember, when all these things were going on, these Edomites, these converts, these Khazar converts, like Cristobal Colon, all right, because they're saying Christopher Columbus, who we know his real name was Cristobal Colon. I have a book that has the records of his son, Diego Colon, who had put lawsuits against the Vatican, all right, against the Catholic Church, Catholic government, I should say, trying to get some of the monies from his father's discoveries, because he died and Diego felt like there was a lot of wealth he had accumulated that didn't get passed on to his heirs. That stuff is on record. I actually have a book that has the documents in it, man. So this is not opinion. This is not me spewing hate. I'm spewing historical facts and scripture, man. And people like Vocab and this Iron Cross guy, the truth does not benefit you. The truth of the matter is that you Edomites have no hope, man. All right, just like that scripture in in Maccabees, the second Maccabees, when he said, you know, you'll have no resurrection to life, and your end will be slavery. Then after 1,000 years of slavery, you're going to get rounded up, wrapped up in a bundle of sticks, and burned like faggots. That's what a bundle of sticks are. Is a faggot. All right, and you're gonna get rounded up, and you're gonna get burned to death and annihilated off the face of the earth, man. I didn't say that's what the Bible says, man. And the fact that I pointed out, you just getting, see, everything was hunky dory when you had the world fooled in believing that you were the people of the Lord. When this was the common belief. As long as the Lord looked like that and God loved everybody, okay, you were okay. But now that the truth is out, you're not okay. You don't like the truth, man. Okay? So anyway, it says this was reached already in the 16th century by the Spanish clergy roadman. His arguments were derived from the unpublished manuscript which he in Roadman in the library of South Pablo, Seville. Montesinos was who possessed manuscripts of Luis Lopez and learned of Bishop Quinto, was convinced that the Peruvian were of Jewish origin. The view of Roldan, Salakia, and of the Gregorio Garcia, the Aboriginals of America, were descendants of the Jews. So you had all these writers saying that they were descendants of Jews who were eyewitnesses to the account. These were men who were alive when these things were going on. This is what they were writing down, and these records have remained. And just because you don't teach them in your Yale and Harvard, you know, you cover these books and this information up. All right, you don't teach this in the public high schools and in the public schools in and around America, man. So this information has been swept under the rug, but now we've lifted that rug up, and you know, or should we say that the Lord has, man. Matter of fact, that brings a scripture to mind. Let's get that scripture. 2. There's one in Luke, I believe. If I can find it real quick. Well, I can't think of that one, so. Well, there's one in Luke. It talks about everything here will be brought to the light, but this one is popping in my head. The one in Isaiah. About the veil that's covered, man. So the veil that's been thrown over all the nations, man, has been lifted. Yeah, it says in this is Isaiah 25:7. And he will destroy in this mountain, America, this power structure, because mountains and hills represent nations and power structures, man. It says he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and a veil that spread over all nations. So you Edomites have spread veils over all the nations with this black and white bullshit. All right, with this Samoan and Chinese, and these people didn't name themselves that. All right, you go to the European. That's not the names that the Lord put on the nations. All right, Esau changed the names of all the nations and the lands. That's Psalms 49:11. You know, because they really thought they were gonna be in power forever. But you can clearly see the dollar's about to crash. You know, the UK just, you know, these prophecies are coming to pass, man. You know, even though I'm teaching this history lesson, I got to mention those prophecies, man. You know, the UK just separated from the EU, and you're gonna have other EU nations follow, man. Why? Because the nations are tired, man. All right. The least of the flock is going to draw them out, man. Everybody's turning on. I keep saying that in the end it's going to end up being America and the Israelis against the whole world. And if all you have to do is just open your eyes, and you can see that, man. And they can't win that fight. Not to mention that the Lord is going to come in the midst of that, man. So because all these things, people, that's why they want to control the internet and shut everything down. Because they're losing control. They're losing the information war, man. And the truth of the Israelites waking up as prophesied in the end of days, they will remember who they were. All right? And the way it says in the land where they will say, you in the place where you will say you are not my people, it will be said that you are my people. That's happening, man. These are all prophecies coming to pass, man. Okay? Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that real quick. I think that's Hosea. Yeah, I believe that's Hosea 1:11, if I'm not mistaken. Or 10. Yeah, Hosea 1:10. Yet the number of children, yet the number of the sons is actually what it says. All right. Don't quote me on that. I have to go and check that. All right, not 100%, but it says the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. All right? I'm going to read verse 11 anyway. Then shall the children of Judah, their sons, that I'm pretty sure of that, and the sons of Israel shall be gathered together and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land, and great shall be the day of Jezreel, and that which is the seed of power, man. And that's the prophecy of Ezekiel 37. 16 through 28 coming to pass, man. You have Latinos, Native Americans, and the Negroes coming together, waking up to the fact that the history proves and the Bible proves and the meaning of words prove that they are the Israelites, man. All right? That's why you had people like, what's his name? I wrote his name down. John Wesley Powell, who was the, who in 1789 said any artifacts that are found prior to Christopher Columbus could not be used, would have to be put away and hid away, man. Why? Because they had already established white superiority. They had already started their whitewashing campaign, was already very well established, and these artifacts that were found prior to them coming that threw a monkey wrench in that whole program. It proved them to be the liars that they are. Just like modern day history, they've already, now you got 9/11 being challenged and every incident that's happened since then. Okay? So their history is all fabricated, man. Remember, the so-called white man, his whole power system is based upon his lies, man. Okay? It says, the aboriginals of America were descendants of the Jews, was maintained with many arguments in one of the same year. All right? Independently by the English man Thorogood and the Portuguese Jew Manasseh ben Israel, a renowned rabbi of Amsterdam, who induced Cromwell to allow Jews to return to England. All right? In the Cromwell, that's a whole other story, man. We could read about that damn devil. A Portuguese Moreno of Villafort, who, and Moreno simply means black, man. Matter of fact, let's get the definition of Moreno. I'm pretty sure I have it in my Bible. Let's find it. Pretty sure I have that somewhere. Conceived. Where is it? Where are you? Is it in here? I usually keep that one on deck. But it says, even when you go into Etymology Online Dictionary, it'll tell you that's a Jew or more converted to Christianity. So they know, man. A Jew or a Moor. We just read what a Moor was. A Moor was a black Moor. All right? Moor is a Russian word. I mean, a German word for black. There it is. Moreno, Etymology Online Dictionary. All right? A Jew or more converted to Christianity. 1580s, from Spain. What are we reading about? Okay? They were from, so there it is. All right? A Jew or more converted to Christianity. All right? Matter of fact, we're going down. Read the blue blood. Okay? I'll put it there. You can pause it and read it. Pause it. Good. Now, to prove that the families of Castile, the so-called white people that were over in Spain at the time, were blue bloods. All right, blue blood was just another term for a so-called white person, man. Remember, they didn't start calling themselves white until the 1700s, man. Okay, that was like a new word. That's when that whole Caucasian white thing came about. Okay, 1834, translating Spanish, sangre azul. All right, sangre meaning blue, azul meaning blood. Claimed by certain families of Castile as uncontaminated by Moorish or Jewish blood, meaning they were not Israelites. They were Edomites. They were pure Edomites, man. They're admitting it. Admixture, probably from the motion of visible veins of people of fair complexion. All right, because you can see those blue veins through their skin. Okay, that was a blue blood, and that was Christopher Columbus and the men that came over with him. They were blue bloods, so they were converts. They were the descendants. Got to remember, Cristobal Colon, all right, is and those Spanish Jewish-ish people were descendants of the Khazars, man, converts from 740 A.D. Okay, Portuguese Moreno of Villafort, who strange to say, also called himself Montezumos. You can read about that in Ronald Sanders' book. Ronald Sanders, that book now is over $1,000, man. Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. It will cost you over $1,000 to get that book now. I believe that I bought that book well over 7 years ago, probably for about 30 or 40 bucks, man. But yeah, that book will cost you $1,000 now. So these are the things, the vocab and these so-called people who keep pushing black Hebrew Israelite, that they don't want to acknowledge the truth, man. All right, why? Because it doesn't benefit them. So they're just being the devils that they are, man. All right. And afterwards assumed the name of Aaron Levi, informed Manasseh that he had mingled in South America with Jews of the 10 tribes. Manasseh's book attracted much attention and translated into Latin, Spanish, Dutch, English, Italian, and Hebrew. Nor has entered, because this book just got printed into English not too long ago. This book was brought back. When you read it, it says students of American Jewish history will be pleased to have the classic work back in print. So this was out of print. And for whatever reason, they brought it back, man. This book had been out of print for many, many, many years, man. All right, so this history gets lost and put away somewhere. All right, nor has it interested in it ceased even to present day. All right, these treatises of origins of the Americans was reprinted 12 years ago by a Spaniard, Santiago Perez Junquera. The descendant of the Americas is in fact questioned, which has often been discussed since the discovery of America down to the present day. Even in recent time, the Englishman Lord Kingsborough devoted his time and his attainments to the greater part of the large fortune of the publication of collection of American documents in order to prove the Jewish origin of the Americans, man. James Adair was an anthropologist who lived among the natives for almost 40 years, and he wrote it, same thing. They called him the name of what they would call Jehovah or Yahweh. They kept the Passover. They had refuge cities. Why would they keep the Passover? And it's something that their ancestors did. And they even talked about how there were native tribes who talked about how they were delivered out of Egypt. Okay, and it says, it is not improbable that the Jews who were driven from Nineveh by Salmanassar wandered into the uninhabited regions. According to Herrera, the Indian cherished the tradition of Yucatan have been settled by tribes of the Orient. Several writers, and that was what the Orient just comes from the word Arai or Arai, which just means the East, man. And they were in the East. Okay, as simple as that. And then they left there, came down into the Indian Ocean, down around the Horn of Africa, and up and down to the bottom of Africa, and over into the islands, into the Americas, man, and filled up the islands, South, Central, and North America. That's how they got there. And there's an account of that in the Apocrypha in Second Esdras, okay? Which is another reason why they removed these 14 books out of the Bible. Because it tells you that. It also exposes Cesare when its false images was put up, which they brought over here and used to subjugate these people in the first place. All right? It said, Lord Kingsborough even asserts that the crossed Bering Straits and proceeded to Mexico and Peru. So, that's the fabricated lie. Okay? And we're going to stop right there because I'll read, I'll probably do another part to this. We'll stop right there. And with that, I'm going to say all praises and glory and honor be unto Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. Double honors unto the apostles of GMS. Salutations to the Akim that are doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking your life and freedom to do so. All right. And hey, keep pushing this work, man. We almost out of here. Shalom, brothers.